episode 4 of my personal video log series called Samurai Speaks Out. Today I would like to focus on a subject which I like to call MMORPG Week. And this week we'll be discussing freemium versus free-to-play MMORPGs, my personal picks regarding MMORPGs, and my pet peeves regarding them. First of all, let's focus on target point number 1, shall we? Freemium versus free-to-play MMORPGs. By freemium, I mean the game is free to play, but at the same time, they have stuff that's like paid for convenience. Basically, you get an edge if you plunk down a certain amount of money, versus the people who play those games and then they start off free, but at the same time, they don't get the same, investments as other players. Like, for example, there was one personal defunct MMORPG I played. It was hosted by a Chinese company, I think called R2 Games. It was called Blade Hunter. I got to like level 161 in there, and it's like, for like somebody who was paying, like, they would get there instantly, but for me, I actually worked there and stuff. And here's the sad part about it is, you pretty much can pay like $200 and then you actually get all those levels. But the messed up part about that is, can you understand this? What if you paid like $200, $400, $600, $800 just because like you like the game so much, and then 5 seconds later the game doesn't even last that long? It feels like a total scam, and a lot of people aren't really gonna put forth the money in doing stuff like that. For me personally, I just decided to take the the free-to-play version of the freemium route, and actually enjoyed myself that way. But at the same time, it's kind of a jip, to be honest, because MMORPGs, as far as I'm concerned, they're like time vampires. They literally drain all your time away. I mean, granted, they give you entertainment in return, so it isn't really like, something major. Personally, with free-to-play, I'll personally prefer free-to-play over freemium MMORPGs because, I mean, granted, yeah, you're not paying anything to play it, but at the same time, it's like, you just gotta pick and choose which ones are the actual MMOs that you want to play, and make sure it's the one that isn't gonna go down within like 2 weeks or like 6 months. Because I think most of my favorite ones were actually some of the expiring MMOs. Like, I liked Blade Hunter, that was one. Rusty Hearts was another one. And I mean, it really depends, give or take. Just make sure the game that you're playing is a popular one. With that being said, let's go to target point number 2. Target point number 2, my personal picks regarding MMORPGs. Like, personally, I've had loads of people tell me to get into Final Fantasy 14. I like Final Fantasy 14, but that's the thing, it's kind of a subscriber-based game, and that's going to get in the way with some of the console titles I want, so, yeah, plus, then there's like add-ons and DLCs and stuff for other games like Dark Souls. Dark Souls is still coming out with another expansion pack, and like, I'm not gonna be able to like plunk down subscriber base fee for one game and then also have money to buy the DLC for Dark Souls and all the other stuff. But one I personally recommend is Terra Online, because Terra, to be honest, is a pretty fun MMORPG. It's like real-time action-based, so if you're a fan of games like Star Ocean: The Second Story and stuff like that, you'll definitely like Terra Online. Another one I recommend is if you're a fan of the Diablo series, it's called Path of Exile. Personally, I could play Path of Exile for days on end and not get bored with that shit. I mean, there's like, the maps are interesting, the effects and stuff are good, but this is the only thing I don't like about Path of Exile, because they took this from Diablo, where they have this one mode, and if you play that mode and you die once, game over for that character. So yeah, another one I liked, to be honest, I liked it so much I actually maxed out twice, once on console and once on PC. Dungeons and Dragons Neverwinter. Granted, I don't play any of the other classes except Trickster Rogue, because I'm just a rogue casual with that. So yeah, that's another good MMO I would recommend. Let me see. Out of all the other ones I played, I personally like Continent of the Ninth Seal, because the action is real time, and that's just completely amazing all on its own. Like, my personal picks regarding MMORPGs, they have to have a certain type of like battle system, as in like real time, like, kind of like Star Ocean, like I said earlier. Those specific type of MMORPGs, they really get my motor going as far as the whole games are concerned. I don't like the turn like based stuff, or I don't like the real-time strategy ones, because like, if I wanted to play real-time strategy, I'd play Final Fantasy Tactics or my all-time favorite, Record of Agrisaur. So yeah, there's that. And let's go on to talking point number 3. My personal pet peeves regarding some of these MMORPGs. Like, for example, I'll use one of my, the one I actually written a fact for, Weapons of Mythology New Age. With Weapons of Mythology New Age, they have these mounts that they give you at the beginning of the game, but they don't tell nobody that they expire within 30 days. So personally, you gotta like do this like one mission like probably for about like 3 months over just to have a permanent mount. Like I got one because my Japanese friends helped me with one, God bless their souls, but I mean that I kind of think that's kind of unfair for like the people who are playing it, especially like they should at least have one mount that's permanent, not have like the very first mount you get be a mount that decays in 30 days. Nah, see that's not cool. That's no bueno. Um, Another one is like, even though I recommended Terra, I personally do not like this fact about Terra. Whenever you play the game and then you gear up to the top of the line gear, the next patch, that top of the line gear becomes like barely acceptable, and then the patch after that, it just becomes non-existent altogether. So, I mean, as far as it being worth a shit. So, yeah, because like for example, I got like plus 15, which is like the maximum stats for your weapons and stuff. But even then, I felt like, you know what? This is a total jip if they're gonna just put you on a hamster wheel over and over and over and over again. But here's the thing with Terra. While the game is challenging, they will always like to remove every particular advantage you have. Like, for example, if you just want to just farm one dungeon repeatedly until you got enough money to buy whatever the hell you want, granted, by the next patch, they'll make that method of farming so minute and obsolete, it's just completely, like, unreal. I mean, the game is good, so don't get me wrong. This is just me voicing my personal gripes about it. And then there was the whole thing with them sending, like, 30-day gifts and stuff in the mail. Like, nobody wants a 30-day gift. Like, start sending permanent gifts, send mounts, send shit that, you know, people are going to want. I mean, granted, I guess that's just the way they did it. And then here's another thing about that game. When they had the little pet dragons in the game, as in the dragon mounts and stuff, like, they were supposed to have a method where you could just like literally fight a max level BAM and then literally get that mount after a set number of kills. But here's the thing. Personally, they didn't do that. Instead, they put them in like dungeons and shit. And it's like, personally, they shouldn't have done that. I mean, granted, not everybody's going to have like the time to go back and forth through the dungeons and stuff. And this is the last gripe I have about Terra, which I'm pretty sure everybody who plays Terra can agree with me on. How they have a limited amount of entries per day. Granted, I mean, that whole stamina system was how Dungeon Fighter Online used to be, which I thought was kind of bad. I mean, I love me some Dungeon Fighter Online, but even so, I thought that was just not cool at all. Let me see if there's any more personal gripes I have about some MMORPGs. Other than the fact that they, like some of them tend to go away, like, after a set number of months, like, due to lack of popularity, this, that, and the other. Personally, like, it just boils down to the one fact. You just gotta find out which MMORPG is the most popular and ride that gravy train until it's done. With that being said, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave them in the like box below. If you can't comment on my video, actually go send me a message about it, and then I'll gladly talk about it in the next Samurai Speaks Out. Until then, this is Samurai, over and out. Later.